Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're going to talk about no hard inquiry, soft inquiry, how we're going to get over on the credit bureaus. Not really. We're going to talk about what we need to do to make sure that we have good credit and that we don't need them anymore. You heard me. Invest. Create your own opportunities, no hard inquiries, no credit check. And we're still going to go over how you can get no hard inquiry, no credit checks the old fashioned way. And welcome. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back to the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page, and I want to thank you for being here. And please, as usual, I humbly request that you share the videos to help thousands, if not millions, of other people. So I want to get right into it, but first, of course, I have to mention the join button over here on the right hand side. Some of you might have seen the live streams and you see the icons next to a person's name. That means they actually paid to join the channel, not just subscribe, but paid to support the channel. And so that means they get special messages under the community tab, and they get 1 or 2 videos per month, especially for them. And they also get to do the members only chats on the Wednesday night lives. So with all that said, I've talked about what the credit bureaus are trying to do to you, not be your friends, trying to block you from being able to have the record-setting high credit scores from 2019 and 2020. Well, they said, hell no, we ain't going to have it in 2021. But that's not going to stop us, ladies and gentlemen, even though they changed the rules up, try to minimize, try to move the obstacle post, goal post back a little bit. No worries. We still have the things in play. So I'm going to get it right into it. We're going to talk about the FICO score. You guys know how this is all done now. 35% on-time payment history. So what you're going to have to do from this point forward, never, ever miss a payment if at all possible, because that takes down your score more than anything else, because it's 35% of your score. Now, next up is amounts owed. That's the 30%, otherwise known as debt utilization. They all told us before that you had to have under 29%, which is a little lower than a third of your balance, to make sure that you stay in good standing. But as you know, if you're a Stop Struggling Now member, you know I've always said you need to stay 9% or less on average. It's across all of your cards. All right? Car notes are installment trade lines. Housing payments are installment trade lines. They're fixed. All right? So that's not part of the debt utilization. So to give you a quick example, $1,000 trade line. So it's for everything. Let's say you have 3 cards. No, I'll have to do something easy. 4 cards. And each card has a $250 limit on it. So you need to keep your payments or your balance under $100. All right? So one card could have $100 balance on it. The other 3 cards, 0 balance. That means your debt utilization is 10%, because 10% of 1,000 is 100. And if you owed $50 and you had no balances on the other cards, then your debt utilization would be 5%, which is optimal mode. You want to be between 7% or less. All right? Just so you know. So there's nothing wrong with getting new credit, which is 10% of your credit score. We're going to get into that in a quick second here, ladies and gentlemen. 15% is that age. Notice age is only 15%. The most important things are payment history and debt utilization. You keep those in check. Age matters only when lenders are trying to mess with you, which they normally don't even ask you about your age. They're looking at your FICO score. And this is why FICO 10 came out, because all those people who were able to get back on track within a year or 12 months, they want to go back 24 months now. So just like the pandemic last year, a lot of people got messed up with their credit. They're going to have blemishes. So these guys are going to be able to carry this forward until 2023 is what they're trying to do with the FICO 10. So now it's going to show up as a derogatory because you missed a payment or two or three 18 months ago, 20 months ago, when it's 2023. 22 months ago. You follow where we're going with this. But it's okay, ladies and gentlemen, because the older it gets, the less it counts as far as late payments. So that's why you need to add new payments where you have no hard inquiry, a soft inquiry. Okay, we're going to get into it because a lot of you already know how to do it. The shopping cart trick. Down below in the description. Down below in the description, there'll be a link to a video where you can go figure out how to do the shopping cart trick. Plain and simple, I show it on screen. All right? This is very important. So imagine you being able to get no hard inquiry, so that won't affect you. And for the record, if you don't know, you should only have 4 hard inquiries in 2 years. After 4, as soon as you get 5 or 6, they try to again penalize you. Why? People need credit. This is craziness. 2 years, you're going to do more than 2 credit checks, I would imagine, but they know that. So we're going around the situation and saying, okay, no hard inquiry, so that won't even come into play. And we'll still get a card. And we'll still get on-time payments, debt utilization, and age going. All right? And there will be new credit as well to give you a little extra boost. Now, that's the first one. Link down below in the description. Second one, overstock. Link down below in the description for that video. All right, so there goes 2 cards that you can get. Most people, it's not 100%. It's generally about 6 out of 10 people will get approved, and you're gonna have to be in the system where they do a soft pull, so they can check. A soft pull means that they can check your credit score without doing a hard pull, and then that way they can approve you. And just so you know, when the pop-up comes up and you accept it, sometimes instead of sending you the card, they'll send you a letter in the mail, and it comes from Community Bank, and it's going to ask you to send in a photocopy of your ID and a copy of your social security card. They still will not do a hard inquiry as of this video. Okay, but you have to send that in. So half of the people will get that, half of the people will get a card in the mail. Okay, and then you got to send it back right away, and then 2 to 3 weeks later you'll have a card. Both for Victoria's Secrets and Overstock, it's the same bank, Community Bank. All right, so now let's get into some other goalposts. This is the reason why 5 months ago or so, after the AG Jeweler started, three months ago, let's say, I started making different type of videos which were more like people think it's an investment video, which it is. But it's also what people do not really understand because you're not taught any of this in school. They don't want you to know this, because if you're 10 years old and you know that you could have $200,000 in the bank, and then you know you can bypass a bank and a credit bureau and credit check, that you can just borrow your own money because you made investments ever since you were 5 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, and now you're 25 years old and you got a couple $100,000 sitting around, you wouldn't need a bank. Because now the situation is going to be, okay, I'll borrow against what I have as assets. So we're going to talk about it. This is not something everybody should do. This is not anything you should do, but I'm just letting you know this vehicle is available, because a lot of people are sitting there with 401ks, with brokerage accounts, with all type of accounts. And now crypto is part of this equation, where you could have potentially $200,000, $100,000 sitting in a brokerage account. You're going to look for real estate. You're sitting there saying, I have 60 grand, 80 grand. And they're going, well, I'm sorry, you need another 10, 15 G's. Most people are like, okay, I guess I'm out of luck. But you have a margin account that you can get against your brokerage. And just like this example here, I'll have a link down below in the description so you guys can actually come to this page. But in the example they have here, you have $100,000 in your brokerage account. You can go call up the brokerage, send in an email, say, hey, you know what? I need $30,000. That's 30%. Okay? That's a margin account. So you can get $30,000. They're going to charge you a little credit. So you have to be, understand that that's part of the equation. Is it worth it to you? But I'm hoping you're borrowing something so it returns revenue. So then you won't have to worry about paying it back personally, that you're going to use that asset that you're just buying to pay it back. But that's another story. So anyhow, look at this here. You can see it on screen. Let's say you take $30,000 from the loan, $100,000. Shortly thereafter, the market drops 50%. This is the worst case scenario. You're going to have to cover the loan because your brokerage account went from a value of $100,000 to $50,000. So they're not going to let you have like a, 60% LTV. That's not going to happen. They're going to say, hey, we need you to get back to 30% LTV. So either we have to sell some of your stock to get into that range, or you're going to have to send us some money to get into that range. That is the downfall of borrowing from your brokerage account. But if it's for short term and you really don't want to do 30, you want to try and get lower than that, 25 or 20. But anyhow, this is a vehicle that's available to you, and it's also available to you in crypto. This is why there's a link down below in the description for Celsius Network. Because if you have crypto, they will give you loans as well. And how about this? You get a loan for 25% LTV. So in our example, I get a loan for $25,000 or less based on I have $100,000 sitting at Celsius Network. My loan is 1%, ladies and gentlemen. This is why the banks, their days are limited and numbered. 1%, ladies and gentlemen. Do you hear me? So this is why I've been saying invest in crypto, or get some crypto and then go send it over to Celsius Network. I previously said Nexo and BlockFi. Well, Nexo and BlockFi, fine. I don't have anything real bad to say about them. I just don't like when somebody changes their interest rates without notifying people, which is the case of Nexo. But it's nonetheless, you earn interest and you can get loans against your crypto assets. No qualifying, no credit check, nobody cares. Okay, you're using your assets. That's why instead of trying to build credit now, I've been saying new era 2021, you build your wealth, because it's a double benefit. You building wealth, and now if needed, you can use your assets to borrow against if needed. It's not a mandatory thing. So now if you know, hey, 10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, it doesn't matter age at this point. If you know you can have whatever you invest and then you can get a loan from it, and if you know the history that I've been trying to point out to people, especially for the stock market, it always rebounds and it always goes back up. There is no 100% loss, ladies and gentlemen. It's a myth. There are stocks you can pick that could be 100% loss. But in general, if you pick a diversified portfolio and companies that actually have a legitimate company and they have revenues, they generally don't go to zero. All right? So what I'm saying is, the Apples, the Microsofts, the Amazons, the Teslas, everybody's heard of these, the GE, the GMs. They could go to zero one day, but they've changed. They're doing EV vehicles. Ford, they're doing EV vehicles. They're not going to go to zero. So again, these are the type of companies that you should invest in. Or you can go with Kathy Wood, ARK Invest, ARK Funds. She's on top of it, ladies and gentlemen. I love that woman as an investor. Listen to what she has to say. I'm going to make a video about something because it's very interesting. But anyhow, let's get on with it. Now, what's our next move? We have self-lender. This is our next move. There's a link down below. Once again, this is a credit builder program, but there is a difference. This is an installment loan. All right? It acts like an installment loan when they report. So it doesn't help you with debt utilization. All right? Doesn't help you with the debt utilization, but it does help you with new credit, payment history, and a credit mix. All right? Now, the beauty of self-lender is not so much that it adds a trade line for you. It's so much that Once you have a certain amount saved within your credit builder file, you could say, hey, I have $300 in there. They go, yes. I want to use your secured credit card feature, so please transfer the $300 over to the secured credit card. And now that secured credit card, again, which was no hard inquiry, that secured credit card now acts as a normal card that's going to deal with your debt utilization, all of the buckets, on-time payments, new credit, credit mix, and then your length of history is started anew. But again, that's another credit file on your credit report that's reporting to help you improve your credit score. And next up after that is Credit Strong. Everybody's heard of Credit Strong by now, I would hope. And they're similar, exactly the same as Self-Lender, except one little caveat. They have never put out their secured card or credit card feature that at one time they had in the pipeline, but apparently they're still with the normal installment trade line. So this is another installment trade line that you can get. And then of course people have asked about the Magnum accounts. They change them up. That shows on your credit report $10,000, $5,000. But again, it builds up a savings account over time. And on both of these programs, Self-Lender and Credit Check, you can end it at any time if you don't want to do it. All right, because there's fees. They don't do this for free. But the thing is, you're benefiting from another type of trade line reporting to your credit bureau. Okay? And last but not least, something that's easy, but it's also an installment trade line that's reporting. But if you pay Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, anything that's $15 or less, it's free. You run it through Grow Credit. Again, a link will be down below for Self-Lender, Credit Strong, and Grow Credit. You do a link between your accounts that's $15 or less. It'll be free. They will report it to the credit bureaus, but again, it appears as an installment trade line. At least that's what I've seen. I don't have Grow Credit, but that's what I've seen on people's credit reports. On a couple that showed installment. I thought they were, doing the other type, but it's an installment. It's going to only show $15, so it's minor. But at least it's another account that shows on your credit report. That can only help you. Now, we're going to go into some other fintech type companies that a lot of people know about. Somebody asked about this just yesterday, about Tomo Credit. Again, no credit check, no nothing. You can get extended credit. The idea of Tomo Credit Card was at one time you get rewards, cash back, and all this stuff, right? But at the time when this first came out, they were talking about credit. Okay, and I can't find it here, but here we go. No credit score, no problem. But as it turns out, that's not entirely the case because they haven't reported to anybody's credit file from what I understand. All right, and the other feature to this is because when you do use this, keep in mind, you're going to have to pay back weekly as they show here. This is what people didn't know at first because this wasn't a thing at first. But now, if you have, it doesn't matter what the credit limit is. It could be 100. But if you charge 100, then you're going to have to pay it back within a week. So it's more like a 1950s charge card. All right? So that's what you have to keep in mind with the Tomo Credit. So if you need short term, like almost like a payday loan type of thing, at least in this case, there's no APR, there's no fees, there's no nothing, but you do have to pay it back in a week. It's like a net 7 is what I call it. So I charge something today for $100 and my limit's 100, then they're expecting it to come back to them 7 days from now. That's the type of mindset that you're going to have if you're going to use the Tomo card. And if these guys ever did report to all three credit bureaus like they had alleged, then this would knock it out the park for the fintechs. All right? So just keep you in mind. That's another one that you can use. At least sign up for it. It's free. There'll be a link down below and go from there. Okay, Xone. This has never came out. It's still a waiting list. They're trying to talk about a credit card. Again, they're talking about the same type of thing. And then, of course, they entice people with some metal card that goes blang, clang, clang. That's not what we're trying to do here. It's not about the card going clang, clang. It's about we're getting cash back, which is a major thing. And it's about if we can get something showing on our credit files. That would be the best deal around. And they're not saying that that's going to be the case. All they're saying is you get cash back. They're going to have deals with other companies. But I'm saying get on the wait list, please. And use the link down below in the description. And by the way, since I was talking about stocks, get your free stocks from Robinhood and Webull. I'll have a link down below in the description as well. And last but not least, this will get you a hard inquiry. This is a secured card for Discover. Discover It has a secured card. I'll have a link down below. And the good thing about the Discover It card is you do have to put in money. It could be $400 or $500. And then after you pay on time for 6 months, in the 7th month, they're going to contact you and say, hey, congratulations. We're going to unsecure this. And we might even bump up your credit limit for you. So 7 months, 8 months on the worst case scenario, you have put up a little bit of money to get you another trade line. And this one is a credit card. So you have all 5 buckets on the credit score bucket list. So that's all I wanted to talk about today, because we got to keep it straight and we have to keep it real. Okay? So Celsius Network, a link will be down below. Get your free $30 worth of, I don't know if it's going to be Bitcoin or DAI in crypto, but if you transfer $200 or more over to Celsius Network, you're going to get $30 of free Bitcoin or DAI. Voyager, I'll have a link down below for Voyager. If you keep your money at Voyager, well, actually, they have interest too, but it doesn't match Celsius Network. But Voyager, if you want to go there and deposit $100 or more into Voyager, then they'll give you $25 of BTC. And the only downfall with Celsius Network is you have to send money to it. But yeah, you can buy at their spot now too. It's almost cheaper to buy on their website. But they don't have all the coins. They have a lot of coins. But like Voyager has more coins than Celsius Network. So you can get other coins at Celsius Network that you can't get at Coinbase, for instance. Coinbase, get your free $10. The link is down below. That's crypto, ladies and gentlemen. And again, Celsius Network, BlockFi, Nexo, even Salt Lending. If you have crypto of $5,000 or more at Salt Lending, then they will give you a 30 to 70% loan, all right, against your crypto. So saltlending.com. Nexo, you can get loans, and they have their own little 25%, 30%, 50% loan packages, just like Nexo and BlockFi. So again, I'll have all the links down below in the description, because we're trying to help people out here. But we need you to start thinking about investing, because that's your future. Because if you invest, think about this. I'm going to give you a simple example. About 7-8 months ago, when I was sitting there talking about crypto and fintechs and the Salt Lendings and the One Dex and all that, and I sat right there and I said, hey guys, this is the future. You might want to invest in crypto because the fintechs are running off of the Ethereum network. Ethereum was 345, 350 at the time, 7 months ago. Ethereum and Bitcoin was 8,900, 9,000. I can't pull up the video on this screen, but now in contrast, Bitcoin is not 8,000 or 9,000 anymore. It's 50,000. And Ethereum is not 345 or 350, it's 1,700. Both of them have 5 times the number. You would not have had to work for that 5 times of profit. It would have been sitting there. You would have been off in doing whatever you want. So this is why it's very powerful, and this is why the powers that be try to stop certain things, because this gives power to the people. If you can control your own finances, that means you can control your own destiny, and that means you can do what you want, when you want, how you want. So come join the party, ladies and gentlemen. And with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. That's why it's always good to be legendary, because you can stay ahead of the game. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them keep you in FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Don't let them do that to you. You have to think about it the other way around. You're thinking about, how can I be better than what they're giving me? How can I get better than 0.1% interest from a bank? Put my money in crypto, go to Celsius Network, BlockFi, Voyager, Nexo. I get interest on my money. 5%, 6%, 7%, 13%, 12%. It's not that hard, ladies and gentlemen. They're not smarter than you. They just give you misinformation. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.